Greetings, Enlightened Ones. Thank you for joining your generic store brand Reverend. In today's video, we're going to be going over how I managed to achieve an award at Purgatory Scream Park and for my first year as a haunt scare actor. But yeah, so what does the award say? So it says Purgatory Scream Park 2025 Best Rookie Actor. I'm going to look back on this award if I ever make it big and go, damn, this right here, this award is what started my career. And so, you know, I'm not somebody that's full of themselves by any means. I take great pride in my authenticity, my ethics, morality, whatever you want to call it. So recognizing where I come from and the road that it took to get me to where I'm at today all starts with this guy right here. So I want to thank again Purgatory staff for giving me this award. It means a lot, honestly. As well as those of you that have taken out of your own leisure to come and actually congratulate me on my acting and my performance as a scare actor and in my Buffalo Bill voice, aspiring actor. So yeah, I greatly appreciate it. Everybody that I guess has had faith in me. This right here feels like a great big step in the right direction for my career. I've obviously haunt acting versus filmmaking are a little different. Not too different, but you know, this allowed me to experiment with character development, improvisation when it comes to working with other actors, and then also just conversing with guests in queue line to really refine those improv skills. That right there was a big achievement for me. And honestly, like, I was very impressed that the staff, for being that it is my first year, apparently when it comes to Purgatory, they don't really quite let everybody just do queue. They choose certain people. And they chose me, and that's very rare given that this is my first year ever doing this. The thing is haunt things, I'm not like unfamiliar with how scare actors perform. I've been attending haunt attractions for much of my life since like 2006. Hell, even earlier than that. I used to go to Halloween Horror Nights when I was like 4 or 5 years old, which was a, a mistake from my parents' side because I couldn't handle it back then. But as soon as I turned about, 2006, I was how old? 11. So I was 11 years old in 2006. Yeah, time flies. I'm getting old. And in the start of 2006, my parents and I were heavily attending Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights almost consecutively every year up until about 2018. That's when Halloween Horror Nights, in my opinion, kind of declined in basically their authenticity. They kept putting in these IPs that I felt like didn't really work very well. Like for this 2025, they brought the Fallout franchise, and I voiced my concern over that. I was like, Fallout's not really a scary type of attraction, or an attraction that could be scary. Now, mind you, Fallout, it's that franchise has always kind of taken itself kind of serious, but not so serious at the same time. I think you would get away with just doing a more of a Fallout themed maze, but without the Fallout IP, if that makes sense. Because obviously Fallout means, you know, nuclear war, that kind of shit, right? And yeah, there were some pretty scary things in Fallout. You know, you had the Dunwich building. If you guys have ever played Fallout 3, the Dunwich building was a pretty terrifying experience, kind of like a haunted house, so to speak, where you got to see visions of pre-war ghosts and shit like that and all kinds of other creepy things. There are creepy aspects to Fallout, but the overall IP was never meant to be creepy. But I digress. That's just my justification of that. Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights has really declined over the years, and I don't really care to go back that much, just because they've lost a lot of that touch, bringing in the wrong IPs, and you see this a lot with not just Universal Studios, but other Dead by Daylight, for example, as a video game, they bring in these IPs that also don't really make much sense to that game. Now, I've said my piece with Dead by Daylight. I no longer play that trash anymore, but you get where I'm coming from. So, anyways, yeah, so I've been attending Halloween Horror Nights, and a lot of like Fright Fest as well, Six Flags back in California, because as you guys know, I'm from Southern California. So, I used to attend a lot of that in my younger years. And what I've observed while going through mazes during my development of going through haunt attractions is how scare actors perform. And I've also watched countless YouTube videos, not necessarily on how other scare actors perform, but more like just observing them. I'm a pretty quick learner when it comes to digesting acting styles, facial expressions, body animating. As I've told you guys, I watch movies even more so now since I'm making this as a full time kind of, well, I guess a part time career, really. I literally study um, everything about a particular character that I enjoy. So I know a lot of the Purgatory staff, like 31, and I think I made mention of this in a previous video, but I did like the way, I forgive me, I forget the actor's name, but I did like the way Doomhead specifically, how he is as a character, his facial work, his tone, and I've been able to copy a lot of his work and develop my own characters and future characters using some of that acting style. He's again, psychological is very big with me. So any type of psychological type of character, I'm going to gravitate towards the most and want to utilize some of those acting styles for future projects. The way he just delivers like these, like a psychopath would, no blinking, very expressionless with delivering a very intimidating line. That's a very psychopathic type of trait. So if you also know a little bit of psychology and human psychology, that is also going to help you a lot when it comes to creating and making these characters more believable. But I was seeing a lot of these scare actors and how they interact with guests, and they all kind of do the same things. The only thing is I wanted to do my own twist on it. And that's where the cue line for Purgatory, where I got to really experiment with what people enjoy and what people don't enjoy. Now, when I was first starting out at Purgatory, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Obviously, since this is my first time doing this, um, I didn't really know what characters I could make that are the most, I guess at the end of the day, I just didn't know what I wanted to be or do that I felt I could really resonate with or get the most reactions out of people. I knew that I could do a clown pretty well, though clowns weren't like what I really wanted to do, but I wanted to utilize clowns as like more of my entry, I guess, into this. And so when they had me do Patient 75, um, this kind of character was I developed him in a way that was very high energy. Um, we have another scare actor whom we call Chicken. He called me Nitrous, and I like that name because that's exactly how I envision this type of character to be. He's a very high energy clown, very schizo in a way, very loud, energetic, very fidgety. Uh, and that's how I developed this clown. And I rolled with it for a while. It did become a little taxing to have to keep yelling and screaming with this type of voice because he is a high energy clown after all. And I was getting a little tired of the character after doing it for so many nights where I kind of wanted to try something else. But they needed chainsaw individuals because like apparently the guy that does chainsaw doesn't always come into work. I don't know if he's just busy or can't do it or make it or whatever, but they threw me on chainsaw. That's where I started really enjoying my acting I would say I enjoyed nitrous, but I really enjoyed the chainsaw um, stuff because I was able to do some really crazy and incredible shit with it that I didn't think I was capable of. Um, I was able to swing this fucking. It was a live chainsaw, but it had a fake blade, like a foam blade on it. I was able to swing this motherfucker around people, using my body weight to throw it over people and really get intimate and close with people with this thing and somehow not cause an injury. I did. I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't hit a couple of people. There was one guy that I just barely skimmed the top of his head, but it didn't hurt him. Some of the blood off the chainsaw came off on and rubbed on his head, but then I had accidentally tapped somebody in the leg with it. So, no matter how much you try to be careful, you are potentially going to run into the risk of, accidentally clipping somebody. A lot of it is just because it's dark outside, and it's sometimes hard to really how far you have to swing and clear people with it. So it's a risk you take, and you could get, chewed out if you manage to injure somebody. But it was a risk I was willing to take because I felt comfortable enough with it that I knew I wasn't going to really harm anybody with it because I know the potential that I had with it. So I just continued to do what I did. But yeah, I was really intimidating with this thing. I was able to get up close and personal with people where they were terrified of me with this chainsaw. Like I was able to just be so close with them. And there's a couple of people that have literally just fallen on the floor in terror, like as I'm just really just getting this thing up and close and personal with them, even while they're on the floor. Like I still keep going. I chase people with it. Hell, I was able to with this chainsaw, I was able to one hand it and swing it towards people and just kind of like stop myself from getting a little too close with it. Like I was able to carry this thing and swing it with one arm. I've gained a lot of upper body strength with utilizing the chainsaw for so many weekends now, and on top of I do physical labor when it comes to the automotive stuff. So I've since this job I've been able to build up a lot of upper body strength, so that's where a lot of that comes from. But yeah, and then screaming off the top of my lungs with the chainsaw too to really just encapsulate everything. The way that I was able to do it wasn't like corny, it was very like blood curdling. Dude, just some of my most phenomenal work that I was able to do that I didn't think I was capable of doing. But unfortunately, it caused a pretty bad back injury. As you guys know, I do have scoliosis. It is something that fucking sucks when it comes to some of the hobbies and the passions that I love doing, two of which are cars, though my car personally, I don't like to work on just everybody's car, but I do like tinkering with cars. I do like, obviously, acting is my number one. And so when you have to do body contorting or these really fucked up animations and somebody with a bad back, it really tears your shit up. And I'm still kind of recovering from it uh, because not only that, but the ground is pretty much dirt. So the ground is very uneven. The chainsaw is heavy. I have a fucked up back. There's a lot of things that are basically holding me back, so to speak. And so I developed a back injury that I had to literally let them know, like, hey, I don't think I can do this for another weekend without really hurting myself and possibly injuring somebody if I fuck up my back and blow it out or whatever. So I didn't want to run the risk of hurting anybody. So I just let them know, like, I seriously can't do this for another weekend. So yeah, something in my lower right side of my back. I wake up and sometimes it still hurts pretty bad. Hopefully it's not like a hip related injury, because it almost feels like it, but I don't know. I'm sure I'll recover. It's going to probably take a while because obviously we just recently got out of doing this haunt stuff. So, but yeah, the chainsaw roll, loved it. Couldn't do it anymore. But this is when I think they realized the potential that I had, is when they decided to actually throw me in queue. And so there was an experiment that we had done, this like doctor like experiment, where I'm holding like a zombie kind of like puppet. And I made mention of this in a previous video, in terms of like being able to work Q and things like that. But Q, like I said, is pretty reserved for veterans and people that, I guess, just know how to act or just know how to interact with people. So this is kind of an honor in a way to have this opportunity to work with the people that are in the line. This is where I shine the most, and the reason for that is because I'm a very scriptive dialect kind of guy. My energy and my acting comes from the improv that is people interacting with me. So I was able to, well, we'll get into the preacher aspect, but let's go back to the doctor. I'm all over the place. I'm just super excited about this, the talking about this stuff. So yeah, they gave me the honor to work Q by experimenting with this doctor getup, which was cool, but it wasn't still for me. Like, I couldn't really flesh out this character because it just, I don't know, there's just something about it that I couldn't really resonate with it too well. Um, and so I did it for a weekend straight. And it was also kind of fucking up my back too, only because this puppet, you have to hold it like this pretty much all night. Your arms like this all night. And not only that, but we still have high ass humidity, and it was still pretty warm during this time. So I'm just sweating my ass off too, and holding this thing and constantly chugging down water. Like, it's a very hard, taxing role. This type of character. But yeah, I didn't know really how to develop them very well. So that's kind of where I was like, you know what? Let me just kind of bring up a character that I feel like I can flesh out and really bring to the table, and use him as a way to interact with people. And as you guys know, obviously I like psychological shit, as made mention, so I developed him as a psychological kind of character, which was the preacher role. The Reverend. I brought him as a suggestion to the table. The only problem is that this outfit isn't very intimidating or scary, but I wasn't always trying to be intimidating or scary at the same time with this character. Though it would be more badass if I could add certain aesthetic to him, I'm not going to lie. But he was very almost toned down in a way, very formal. He just looked like how I dressed on YouTube with the father getup, priest, reverend getup. He just wore makeup, kind of like devilish looking makeup, and he had stigmata where his eyes would have blood coming out of them. So I'm going to pause the video here. There's one key thing that I had failed to make mention that I believe is very important to this character and his development, and how it even incorporates a part of myself into the character, which is the blood that is coming out of his eyes. There's actually a movie on this literally called Stigmata, but what stigmata is essentially feeling everything like the wounds and the crucifixion of Christ. You're able to feel the lashings, all the suffering that Jesus has went through. And so I incorporated that in the sense of this character, in relation to me as an individual that feels a little too much and that cares a little too much about certain things that maybe I shouldn't care that much about. So it's kind of a, I don't know if this is the right terminology, but like a double-edged sword, so to speak. And that's all I wanted to say, was that it was a critical key thing to this character. And I remember one person had even made mention, so why is there blood coming out of your eyes? And I told him, I was like, well, son, some could say I feel a little too much. I just have the gift of discernment. And just kind of laugh it off, basically. So, it's still feeling that psychological aspect. That's why I love it when people interact with me in the form of a question, because I can answer it in the form that makes them question. And that's the most rewarding aspect of this character. So this character I brought to the table, and I've almost had no time to prepare this character. Like I just went out there and developed him on the go. It was literally just, hey, I have a baseline representation of what I think this character should be. Throw me out there and I will flesh him out. And fleshed him out I did. Holy shit. And so people would keep asking me, they're like, so who are you supposed to be? And so my answer to that question would pretty much just go as followed. And it's weird because I don't know how the caller didn't already show what I am, but I tell them, oh, honey, I'm just a figment of your imagination. Consider me like a mirror to uphold your convictions. Golly. So it's to get people thinking about what that kind of means, right? So I'm a mirror, meaning when you look at me, you're faced with your own sin, conviction, that type of mentality, right? So, and if they can't understand that, then that's not my job to explain that to them. It's left up to them to decide what the riddles kind of mean in a way, right? So it's a play on society. But yeah, I'm not going to get too much into the Reverend character. I've kind of made mention of that in my previous video. If you guys do want to check that out, I'll have it up there. So that way you can kind of get like an idea of how this character really interacts. But the premise is this was the best character that I was able to bring to the table. And a lot of people in Q Line very much enjoyed it, to the point where I was having at least one woman and a couple other people that had made mention that, hey, look, like, I appreciate that you're actually entertaining me rather than just trying to get a cheap scare out of me. So I took that as constructive, and really utilized that. And it was kind of something that was eye-opening for me in terms of understanding people, for that matter, too. Because not only are you doing improv and character development, but you're also seeing what gets under people's skin, what intimidates people, or what people enjoy, and you can even utilize that for future acting as well, for things like what I want to do, which is psychological. So you're trying to get a feel for people and their perceptions and all that stuff, their fears, everything, right? So that's something that I took as experience that I'm going to be utilizing for basically future gigs or whatever. And yeah, so it was it felt really nice to get that kind of criticism. But yeah, we did have our after party, which is where we got our awards here. We just had it on Saturday. And so right off the bat, I just want to let you guys know, those of you that have attended, that watch my shit, I do apologize for maybe not being so involved in the after party. I'm just a very reserved and quiet kind of guy. Maybe it would have been different if I had drank more, because I was pretty sober. But and I don't like using this word very much, but I kind of consider myself kind of a stoic individual. The way I carry myself, a lot of that just comes from my again, morality, and my ethics and everything. And I hold myself at a pretty high standard, and not from a narcissistic point of view. It's just how I carry myself. So anyways, yeah, it was still enjoyable though. I'm more of a people watcher than a people engager. So even though it may not look like I was enjoying myself, I was just watching how y'all were interacting with each other. And I do that when I go to clubs all the time too. So what I want to talk about with this party is how you got to see, um it's kind of hard to talk about. I'm not going to tear up, I promise. But it's shown that this type of line of work can build family in a way. You guys work with each other every weekend, right? And you get to know each other, and the relationship bonding and the relationship building that happens with this type of environment that I didn't think could. Well, to some degree, I didn't think could really exist in that light. It's shown me that For an individual that is disconnected in my own right, and how I've tried to express that through my acting and my film creating, um, from an artistic standpoint. It has shown, it's kind of given me hope a little bit, that connection building can happen within communities. And I think what I've learned is that for someone like myself, or maybe even other people, if you are looking to feel like you fit in somewhere, it is through communities. I promise I'm getting somewhere with this. When I had even first arrived at Purgatory, I just kind of felt compelled to help uh, Corey, our costume manager, and I think Megan was also in there as well. Hopefully, they don't mind me using their names. Uh, I wanted to help them organize the costumes. For one, I'm bored. I would just go home and probably fuck off and do something. So I was like, why not just try to help out? So I wanted to I got back, just something. I remember being in my car and I turned it on. And I was about to go to Creepy Hollow because I had an interview for Creepy Hollow that same day that I had an interview for Purgatory. Something just kind of spoke to me. It was like, call it a voice from God, so to speak. And it was like, hey, bro, turn your car off, go back up in there, and just go help them. They look like they need help. Just go back up in there and just go help them out. And that's exactly what I did. It was literally like something called to me to do it. So I helped them out, and they, without even, I did it as more of a joke. Like I really wasn't looking for payment or food or nothing. And they were all about to leave to go to Whataburger, and I was like, "Oh, I'm coming too." And Corey was like, "You want to come?" And I was like, "Oh, dude, I was just fucking around. It's whatever. Like I don't mind." And he's like, "Nah, bro, we got you, whatever." And I was like, "Damn, really? Okay." So I hopped in their truck. Total, like I'm a total stranger to them at this point, other than I've started helping them. That was just because I helped them that they gave me that or whatever, and they didn't have to do that. And when we got there, it felt like I've known these guys for a while. Like we were just talking shit, um, literally just talking about other stupid shit, and it was really enjoyable. It's really weird, and so I am. I'm gonna say this right now before I even claim this. When people claim to be empathetic, you don't want to trust them. And I know this from experience because most sociopathic people will tell you that they've discovered empathy. And I know quite a few YouTubers on here that have claimed that, oh, well, I'm empathetic now. So therefore, I know how it means to feel. And I'm like, the thing with empathy is you either have it or you don't, period. It is not something you learn. It's just impossible. To be empathetic is to be able to read a room and feel the energy that comes off that room. And it is something that I can definitely say I have the ability um, to that discernment. Um, it just makes me upset even wanting to even talk about this because I can feel what this means for this person, right? Like I'm about to tear up just thinking about it. Um, so Crystal, um, God damn it. Fuck, you're gonna make me fucking cry. God damn it. I promise I'm not gonna fucking cry. I ain't no bitch. Alright? I ain't no bitch. So if that doesn't prove that what I'm talking about, I have feeling for this shit. I promise this ain't acting. Um so what this means, and to finally wrap all of this family aspect together, what this means for a lot of people, because they've built these relationships with people. Um, Hopefully she doesn't mind me using her name either. Crystal, she's one of our veteran actors. Um, Started to cry because she knew it was over for the rest of the year and it was going to be a full year before she was able to do this again. And so I can just kind of feel her energy and what this whole thing meant to her. Even though I've never done this, but for like 1 year, I could totally understand it from her point of view. You know, the family dynamic, what this means for her, because for a lot of scare actors, this is a form of escapism, right? For us, to run away from bullshit, essentially, to get all that pent up anger and frustration with whatever it may be, trauma, um, XYZ, and deliver it in a healthy way that's in a performance. And I've even made mention of this in a previous video, how acting is my escapism. Pardon me. God damn it. Um, and so I am somebody that has a lot of um, childhood developing issues and trauma that comes from that. Coming from a family that has not been very functioning, has played a role in a lot of my development as a man, and my decision making. I do have a lot of self worth and self esteem issues because of a lot of that childhood issues that I do have. So a lot of the times, and this is me just being um, vulnerable, I guess, and I probably shouldn't disclose too much information about myself, but I'm just an open person, and I'm transparent in that regard. And so I have a lot of self validation issues to where when it comes to relationships in a lot of ways, I look at people for self validation. Like, am I doing the right thing? Is this what I should be doing, or did I say the right thing? Like, I reflect based off of other people's input a lot of the times with things, and I know that's not a very healthy thing to do. But that's a lot of these issues that I have. I use acting as my form of running away. And, you know, when I saw her break down, like, I could feel that. Like, I understand immediately where she's coming from without really having to fully process it. Um, because I understand it. I get it. I know what this means for a lot of people. And I almost just about wanted to cry too. So I was like, as a joking thing, I saw her crying. I was like, stop it, don't fucking cry, stop, get away from me, go away, no, stop, that shit's contagious for me, go away. And so she's like, I can't help it, and I'm like, it's hard. And that's what I mean is that it is definitely a family thing, and it's just interesting how that has been a dynamic in a way. And there's even an individual whom I met that you know, I talked to her after the haunt and shit just to kind of see where we stand and shit like that. And I'm not really gonna disclose her name because I don't know if she really wants to be disclosed. But yeah, with her, you know, like I just wanted to kind of close things, just to understand things. And I remember when she was going through shit, even I could even feel without really understanding fully like what she's going through as well. And there's just a lot of we're all just broken toys that work in a haunt attraction. It seems like we all have our bullshit, our issues, and I guess broken toys uh, find other broken toys, and we can kind of heal together in a way, I guess. But yeah, this experience, just as a more of a follow up to the conclusion video, has been just, I would say, a phenomenal experience. I didn't think I was gonna get a whole lot out of a scare haunt attraction um, environment for my acting, but I actually learned quite a lot, and it's felt like it is a step in the right direction for me, truthfully, in any way. And I definitely want to do this moving forward, again in the future. So let's talk about the future. So let's talk about 2026. What's the plans for Purgatory Scream Park in 2026? Now, I'm not going to disclose big plans because I don't think the owners would want me to completely give out information in the sense that what we're planning on doing, but I'm going to talk about it in the sense of from a more generic, secretive aspect. So I don't want to spoil anything for 2026 for those of you that are just regular guests or viewers or whatever that are in Houston. But we'll just say we have some pretty big plans, and it involves our queue line. So one of the issues that we were having is the incredible wait times, which I do understand. And when I was the Reverend, I did make jokes about that to people as just a friendly, to relate to the audience, right? As is, this guy is also a jester, right? So, um, I would see people just bored, and I would feed off that. So when I would go up to people, I would just be like, my oh my, we're gonna need a prayer for how long it's taken to get into God's pearly doors. Moving a millimeter at a time, I see. And so people were just like, yep. And I'm like, oh, don't you worry. I think if you pray hard enough to our Lord and Savior, He might spare you another second of your time. So I would just kind of, say something like that along those lines. And people really enjoy when you can. That's the other thing too, is if you can really relate to the audience, that is how you earn their respect. But I'm not going to talk too much about that. Yeah, so we're redesigning our queue line because a lot of people are really not having the queue line being as long as it is, without some kind of warrant to be waiting in such a ridiculous long line, right? So what we want to do is completely redesign the queue to be a more interactive experience. So that way, when you actually get into the front, you are already living the experience. You are already in the maze or in the experience. So that way, everything about it is immersive. And I'm not going to say or disclose what changes we're doing because honestly, it's in the works anyways. So we have an idea what we want to do, but I'm not going to disclose it. It is going to be a secret for 2026. So you guys that are returning are in for a treat. So, but yeah, we're thinking we want to make it more theatrical. We want to make it a much bigger experience and more immersive. And I'm all for that. And especially the theming that we want to do with it, I'm all for with it because it's what I resonate the most with, that I can truly be in character with. But we're also wanting to get new original IP characters for Purgatory. And I think they want to utilize me. I don't want to say I'm full of myself, and say they want to 100% utilize me. If they don't, I don't mind. I don't really have an issue with it. I don't really care. The award is more than enough for me. But they may want to utilize me for a specific character that I'm not going to disclose, for future advertising, like our billboards and stuff, and kind of retire some of the other original IP characters and bring in some new characters to the table. And I think they want to utilize me for that project. So that is like the biggest holy shit honor. Like I can't thank Purgatory enough for that, even having that opportunity. Like honestly, like that's pretty cool because that's like opening doors for me. That's like opening opportunity for me. To put on even a resume to be like, yeah, like, they liked my shit so much that they utilized me for billboards. I got a fucking sick ass award that has gotten my foot in the door. Like, yeah, it's an honor. And it's something that I seriously can't think enough. Like it's fucking crazy. Like I've already made such a huge amount of progress in my career, and I've been really pushing myself hard shit, for just even the haunt attraction alone, like I was fucking tired. I had to the point where I was like, "Fuck, dude, is this over yet? I want to go home, dude. Like I'm about to die." Like I was getting like angry almost, like just because I was so tired. And you know, like it's just the amount of progress I've made is is really cool. But kind of reeling it back to get back into the planning and everything for 2026. I do want to help them with the fabrications and the things that we got to do, to just pay my respect in a way for, it's like scratching my back, scratch your back kind of thing. You've helped me such an incredible amount with my career that I want to give back, as even as like a family thing, and help you all with wherever you need me, to get things ready for 2026. So I don't have a problem with building things or whatever when I have the free time to do so. So I'm totally all for that. But outside of the haunt, my plans, I'm in the process of applying for classes for 2026. By Next Actor Studio. They're out there in Woodlands and Houston. This one's a different studio than the one I took the beginner classes that I had at in around August, I think it was. So these classes are a little bit, I feel like they're a little more professional, because apparently they have a wait list. So that tells me that they're probably a lot more credible in terms of getting my foot in the door, by meeting people, connection building, of course. So that's something that I'm going to be doing. And the character, going now back to the haunt stuff, the character that we want to make as an original IP, and I'm not going to disclose it, but he's going to be using a lot of dialect, specific kinds of dialect. And so I'm going to have to really research this character even further to really drive it home, and understanding, we'll say, old texts. That's the only hint I will say. We'll say we're gonna have to learn a lot of old text, from the way backs. And this character is gonna be a really something. I'll tell you right now, I will be able to deliver a performance that is going to be even 10 times better than what we did with the Reverend. So I'm actually really super excited. And I plan on going to Trans World with these individuals, to hopefully find a costume, and things to put together for this character to make him really an immersive and creepy experience. But yeah, guys, this has been a lengthy video, almost an hour long. And it's for a good reason. It's for a good warrant. And I thank you guys for hopefully watching the whole video if you found it really informative. This was kind of more of an intimate video, in my opinion. So I thank you guys for watching throughout the entirety of it. And even though I ramble and I'm all over the place too, this video wasn't really all that structured. But I will have it chaptered, so that way you guys can watch the parts that you want, and you get a more understanding of this whole video. But yeah, again, thank you, Purgatory staff, for just giving me this award and this fantastic opportunity. I can't thank you all enough, even though I've said it more than enough in this video. And as well as those of you that have also complimented me on my acting and my performance that I work with. So again, thank you guys as well. So yeah, that's going to do it for the end of this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And we're almost at 2,000 subscribers, so we need like 2 more. So let's get there, bro, because that's going to be a pretty decent achievement for me, for somebody that's just, restarted my YouTube channel. So you guys have a good one. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.